Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail!
Man, some
How
things
is that?
never get old.
Do you have a tail?
Yes, and it wags when we do the mailbag episodes here on Staircase.
This is
to
breaking
Nowhere.
news.
This is way
Wait.
too personal for me.
And Noah, that song is not original to you, correct? That's not a you
Are
song.
you sure?
You're
No,
You're
I
ripping
feel
this
like I
off.
remember it.
I'm
that
calling
up
my
in
lawyer.
childhood.
I can't
Yeah.
go back to jail.
I feel like we have some
Copyright
Gen
jail.
Z listeners that may not remember the original Blues Clues mailbag song, but that's that's what that is.
You know,
They-
I remember Blue's Clues with Steve before it was Joe. Everyone thought Steve died.
Oh,
What's that one
Yeah.
meme? It's like every generation there's a blue dog that comes to guide the
yeah,
children.
it's like Snoop Dogg, Blues Clues, and Bluey.
Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg.
Yeah,
yeah,
All
he,
right,
he was
whatever.
guiding the children.
Snoop Dogg is a rapper. All right,
No.
whatever.
You want to know a funny story about Snoop Dogg? When I was a kid, my mom was helping me come up with an email, and I really like dogs, and we tried all these different iterations of dog. And I said, "Oh, what about like like a dog like Snoopy? Like I love Snoopy. Like what about like a Snoop Dog or
Snoopy
something like
dog.
that?" And my mom was like, "You can't have that. That's bad." I was like, "Why? I love
That's
Snoopy."
You can't have it.
So I think I'm going to go to
Snoopy the
Gmail
dog.
and try to get Snoopy Dog.
Snoopy
Gmail.
Dog. Well, we have
I
lots
still
of
love
people
Snoopy, just so you know.
with lots of different email addresses that have been sending us emails to our email address. None of them are named Snoopy Dog, though. But that's what
Mm-mm.
brings us to our microphones tonight, is to talk about some of
Absolutely.
the internet mails that we've gotten.
Yeah, this is Staircase to Nowhere, your ministry culture podcast. It's our mailbag episode. Every week when we have our discussions, we invite you to send us questions, join the conversation, and we are thankful for those who have sent us emails at staircasepod@gmail.com. You will receive Chat GPT, Staircase GPT.
Do we still do that?
responses. Oh, of course
Little
we do
this,
that.
little that. Yes, of course.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you text me these emails so then I can go ahead and do that?
Well, we need to put in Naveed, our Staircase GPT.
Oh, yeah. Sam, will you do that then while we're
Send
getting
them
this
in.
podcast going?
Yeah.
All right,
Let 'em
perfect. So here's the first one. And we're gonna go right on through. My name's Noah. I'm a seminary student in Atlanta, Georgia,
Oh.
here with my buddies. Make sure you guys know who they are.
Hey, I'm Buddy. I'm the guy that likes Snoopy. Still love him. I almost bought a skateboard with Snoopy's face on it, but I couldn't find a good one. My name is David Neal, and I work with college students.
That's beautiful.
I would, if you guys find a cool skateboard with Snoopy on it, I'm in.
I have a skateboard in my basement that has lots of stickers on it. It may have a Snoopy. I found the skateboard in Nashville. I've never actually used it. I found it behind a dumpster, and now it lives in my basement. All right. Anyways, my name is Sam, and I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm on a call with my two best buds.
Three boys. Two boys.
Three
Three
boys.
best buds. One is yourself.
Yes. Hey.
Out of body
Hey.
experience, Sam.
Yeah.
One is the Holy
All right, Noah. What do
Spirit.
we have in the old inbox? What's going on?
All right, we got a good one from Justin G entitled "Sam, You Liberal."
Whoa. Justin
And
G.
Hey, I got a question about your work, Sam. Thanks for sharing
Heyo.
about it on the episode. How do you do?
How
He asks-
do you do?
Yeah, I think we need to play that one. Where's that
Oh, wait,
intro?
yeah. Can you play that?
Sam, you got the intro?
I have to go digging. I have to. we're
No.
gonna play.
I feel like.
Wait.
you
Yeah.
find it?
Hang on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Well, keep
Here,
reading
I'll
that
just
email.
Read the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "How have you seen spiritual warfare in your work?" I mean, this is a serious question, right? So if that intro song played,
Yeah.
that would be wildly inappropriate, actually.
Yeah, don't play it right now, Sam, while he's asking this hard question.
Asking about spiritual
Don't
warfare in your work.
play it now.
Can't do it. Stop.
It's mixed signals, Sam. I'm sending you intentionally mixed signals. You can't see it, but I'm winking at you.
I'm trying to hear this guy's question.
You've already heard the email, Sam.
How have you seen spiritual warfare in your work, specifically in terms of demon possession of the people who find themselves homeless. I've had some friends that are very quick to assume demon possession of those that are homeless, and I was wondering how much of that you've experienced. I know that if you don't have proper training and knowledge, it can be easy to confuse mental illness with demon possession, but I also believe they can be related, not always, but possible. Would love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this topic. P.S. Is there another just a bit of banter on the schedule, or are those more spontaneous when they occur? I love the theological convos, but I've also enjoyed the silliness of friends talking about anything and everything. Justin.
Aw.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. We love being silly friends and talking about anything and everything.
Honestly,
Especially-
I think
For
we're going to
sure.
move this to just a banter and mail podcast is what it feels like.
That's all. That's all.
Staircase to
Yeah.
Nowhere Banter Mail Podcast.
Yeah, we'll change our tag. Yeah. So first, thank you for the question. I appreciate the interest in the the desire to understand people and how to best love and support them. I think starting with my experience, I wouldn't say that I've had a whole lot of encounters or situations where I have engaged somebody and started working with somebody and I guess warning bells go off of this. There's something there's some sort of demonic presence here. What specifically he's asking about, how many people would you say are dealing with demonic possession? And I'm again speaking from my anecdotal experience from myself. So I just really would say that's there's a couple ways to answer this question. There's I think zooming out and saying what does it mean for Satan to be at work in the world, right? What does it mean for the demonic to be at work in the world? And if we have this idea of Satan, demons, dark forces, whatever, are only manifesting through the spiritual possession of people, I think that's a really limited view of how strong the grip of darkness is in the world. What I mean by that is I think for me, when I look at the influx of fentanyl that is just flooding our streets and our neighborhoods and stuff, that is a demonic grip. That is a fierce foothold of darkness in our world and our country. When I look at the when I look at the sex industry, in the prostitution rings and these things that are just dark and ungodly and unholy. I wouldn't say that's demonic possession, but I would say that's Satan and darkness at work in our world. So I think having a wider understanding of what does it mean for Satan to be at work? What does it mean for darkness to be at work? And what does it mean for Jesus to bring healing and redemption? The gospel bringing healing is more than just isn't limited to an exorcism, right? It's also recognizing that Satan is strategic and that he is using a whole lot of things to destroy communities and destroy the lives of people. So from my experience, there hasn't been, I would just caution anybody, if you see somebody on the street, if you jump to they're possessed by a demon, I think that's a pretty big leap personally from my experience working in this field. But it's not a leap to say that Satan is at work in the world and there's people who are victims of the accuser and the thief who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And they need to be loved and cared for, and we need to have a posture of compassion. Because honestly, my biggest fear is that we just write people off and say, well, they're just possessed by a demon. That's a pretty I just think you think about people differently. You choose not to engage them, or you just write them off as they're too far gone or something like that. If you just immediately jump to that really extreme category. So, those are some of my initial thoughts. I would, does that make sense to you guys? I mean, he's not here to answer the question or ask anything else. Do you guys feel like I answered that appropriately?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like the friends that Justin are talking about see someone on the side of the street talking to themselves or being very angry or yelling at nobody and kind of assume that that's demonic, and
hmm
it's
Yeah.
probably untreated mental illness.
Yeah, and I would say like the lines between these things are also blurry, right? Like the lines
Sure.
between our spiritual, physical, and mental health are not like very clear lines. Like they all connect. Like if we try to get on this podcast and describe, hey, what's the difference between our mind, our body, and our soul and our spirit? We're like, well, they're all connected. I don't know how to explain the difference between all those things because they all, well, whatever. Lots of ink has been spilled over that. But I think when you talk about this, you're having a similar conversation. Like, I believe that somebody's like physical state, like their physical situation in life does affect their affects them spiritually and affects them mentally. Like this is like embodied theology, or like we are so like there's so many layers, and it's not as black and white as like, well, they're just possessed by a demon. That's what it is. It's like, no, there's a lot going on in people's lives. So I just feels reductive. It can feel reductive. I'm not like denying that it can happen. Like I'm not denying the reality of like demonic possession and stuff. I would say that I've had a couple like experience that I have had. I don't really want to talk about on like a podcast. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not really the place for it. Like I'm not saying that I'm not denying that these things are real. I just think like if we don't have, honestly, we have like a big imagination about what God can do. And I think having a big imagination of what like, the reality of darkness in our world, that's what Revelation is. It's like a peek behind the curtain of like, here's all the evil that is going on behind the scenes. And, but at the end, there's like good news that Jesus conquers all that. So I think, there's a lot at play when it comes to how Satan's trying to rip apart communities and destroy lives of people, like destroy people's lives. And it's not just through like demonic possession, but it's through lying and deceiving and using substances and like like there's tons of things. Like, I don't know. I just see Satan's acts as in, the work of the devil, or however you want to say it, as just like very complicated and really, really big. So yeah, this is a really fun, light question to get the conversation flowing.
Yeah, get the gears going. Started with the
gears
intro.
Yeah. Bah.
I think you leave room for not just demonic possession, but demonic oppression, right? Like, yeah, I think that's not a stretch at all to say that a lot of the people you see in public are being oppressed, right, by forces of the enemy. And so, like I think that goes right. Like the theology of the supernatural really plays well into that whole conversation of the intersection between the natural and the supernatural, and the whole concept of powers and principalities trying to crumble yourself and crumble society. So yeah, I think the devil is at work in a lot of different ways. And so I think no more need to say any more than what Sam said.
Yeah. And just be careful because, so many people who are homeless right now have just shared their faith with me of, we're still trusting in God, or when I offer to pray, they go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Or you try to share the gospel and they like share the gospel with you. So there's tons of people with tons of different experiences, and to paint a broad brush and say, everybody's this is just not true.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that that's not what I would assume that's not what the premise of the question was. Like, everybody that's homeless is possessed. Like, I'm sure that's not the heart behind it. It's a great question, because I'm sure there's people that have wondered. Like, I'm glad the question is being asked, because we need to talk about it, and we need to be okay with, need to be willing to ask the question out loud and be like, well, what about this? So I'm glad that he's thinking through that. I'm glad that you're asking that. So cool.
Boom. Next question from Colin D. That's one of your guys, right, David?
That is he graduated, so.
Oh, wow. One of your alumni.
Congratulations.
Coming back.
Yeah, good job, Colin.
Yeah. Colin, congrats on graduating. Hope you're doing big things. And
He
even
is.
small
Yeah.
things. That's totally
And
fine
both.
to do small things.
Do things.
All the
Things.
Things.
Small things.
All right, what's the
All
email?
right, Colin's subject for us is mega churches. Toot, toot.
Ooh.
Ooh.
He said, "Hey, folks. As someone
Hi,
who grew
folks.
up near Lakewood Church, Joel Osteen's, with an attendance
Wow.
of 45,000 people weekly, I have always known of mega churches. As I think of that now, I think the term is so broad. A church that has 500 weekly attendees seems mega to me. At what point is a church a mega church? And at what point is a church too big? There's definitely some room for personal preference, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks, Colin.
Is there no PS from Colin?
Colin, we expect the PS. What happened to the PS?
we expect a PS.
There can't be
brother.
postscript if you don't postscript it.
That's true. That's true.
Answer is anything over 250 is a mega church, and we're done. All right, keep going. Next question.
Next question.
No, what was
No.
the? We looked
Over
up the
250.
definition. What is the definition? Yep.
Yeah, so
One pastor
Encyclopedia
can only know
Britannica.
250 people. Oh, sorry.
Okay, tell me about that, David. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like a
yeah,
pastor
I mean, there's-
is limited to knowing 250?
Yeah, so my joke is flippant, right? Obviously, that's not the real definition. But I'd say there is a major distinction when you get above 250 people, because one pastor has a hard time knowing more than 250 people, so you have to hire more staff, you have to get more professional, you have to have an HR department. So that like 250 to 5, I agree with Colin, that 250 to 500 person range is a major distinction, right? And the majority of churches are in the world are well under that 250 to 500 range. Like not amount of people, but amount of actual gatherings are there's a significant number of churches in that size. So once you get past that 250 to 500 range, you're to me in a whole different category, right? But I'd like to hear the technical definition according to the encyclopedia that you own.
The internet.
The encyclopedia defines a megachurch at 2,000 weekly attendees. So
I feel like that's a pretty
that's not
classic.
necessarily a. What'd you say?
I feel like that's the definition I have always heard is 2,000.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily like a Christian definition of it, but Hartford Institute of Religion. What they're looking for to define a megachurch, they say it's not just 2,000. They also define it by suburban location, non-denominational Protestant usually.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Conservative theology, contemporary style, and a broad appeal. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
go Sam.
Here's the thing.
It's a
Colin-
genre.
He did an email asking what the technical definition. He could have Googled that. He wanted to know our hot takes. What makes a megachurch a megachurch? Noah and I are babies of the megachurch, right? We were born and bred megachurch
Birthed
boys.
into the
David
megachurch.
birthed
David's
into
never
the
even
megachurch.
stepped foot in a megachurch.
David
Yes, you have.
will refuse to step into a building of Christian.
He doesn't
There's
take
more than 200
communion with
Christians in a building.
megachurch.
David won't go into it. He can't go into most malls. It's crazy.
It's horrible living in the Midwest. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. So I want to hear from y'all how would you define a megachurch outside of like the encyclopedia? The encyclopedia or what are like the distinctives of a megachurch outside of the encyclopedia thing. I was mentioning this. We were listening to some of talking about the emails right before we hit record. And I had mentioned that I do feel like a megachurch is almost like there's almost like a megachurch mindset that is almost like a way of doing church. I don't know totally how to like, and what I mean when I think about that is I think of even like church plants that are operating like startups and operating with like, you might have like 50 people in a church room, but you like are really focused on like your social media presence. You have like brand, like you have like, merch and stuff, or like you're just kind of thinking about church through the mega church lens, and because of how influential like mega churches are. When I was doing ministry in like Mississippi, I was looking to big mega churches because that's who the most visible people doing ministry were. And I was like, okay, how are they preaching? How are they doing these things? Because I have like limited resources. I don't have all that stuff, but I want to, I want to lead a ministry that's successful. So I think there's also like the mega church influence that is like shaping the way that even smaller churches think and do ministry. How many churches are 100 people, but you walk in, you're like, this feels like it's like an Elevation church like gathering or something. Just because the mega church culture is so like, I don't know, it's just in the stream of evangelicalism.
Yeah. I think kind of what you're like pointing at is like the commercialization. Like when it feels like it's it seems like the focus is on guest experience and like well packaged, well produced. And I think that that's some of the stuff that like I've pushed against. That like when we look at the New Testament, the images that it gives us of the church is family, the household of God, like the body. We all are different, have different functions, but we all are valuable contributors. We are participants. And so I just feel like the kind of mega church model that we're going to do a big production that a few people do and a lot of people get to watch and experience doesn't really allow very well for that like all participation, and doesn't necessarily allow well for, or doesn't make the family analogy make as much sense when if you don't recognize people or if they don't know if you're there or not, and you kind of slip in and slip out. And so
and I feel like that you just answered the question of like, well, how big is too big? And there's not, I'm going to say on this show, like, I don't think there's a number that's like, oh, once you have X amount of people. Yeah. Okay. David has a number. Once
David
you have this many people, like you're too big. But what you were just talking about, Noah, like once you stop doing that, once you stop living out life as the redeemed family of God, and church is something you attend and not something you participate in, like once like that changes, like, yeah, I think we're in some dangerous territory. And I think it's easier, like big churches, it's easier to get lost in the crowd and not do that and not feel like a part of the family in a large church. But not that it's impossible. Like there's ways you can structure leadership and structure, like it's not that it's not possible, but it's just a different battle. It's different creating a family atmosphere when there's 40,000 people on your member roll than when there's 100 people on your member roll. So I just wouldn't want to make a hard statement that there's like, it's this many is the bad number like David does. Go ahead, David.
All right. Do you guys remember the you might be a redneck if?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do that for mega churches. Ready? I got two, and then I'll let you guys jump in. You might be a mega church. You might be a mega church if your head pastor has an MBA instead of an MDiv.
Oh.
Ooh. No, David, that's the executive pastor, not the lead pastor.
Oh, this game's gonna get us in trouble.
You may be a mega church if your marketing team uses the phrase "do life with us."
Dude,
everybody says
you may be a mega church. Oh, go ahead.
If you have a marketing team,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Big friend of the podcast, Michael, I got to see this week in Wake Forest, my old seminary roommate, and
Michael,
he said that he almost prefers a church to have a bad website.
Whoa,
let's go.
He says if we spend all our money on marketing and communications, we're relying on the tactics of business marketing to get people into the church. And he's like, I don't want people to find my church from the internet. I want them to find church from a personal invitation from one of my members.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's kind of hard because like most people find church because of the internet. But the people who are looking for a church are people who are kind of like church shopping that have that kind of consumerist mindset. Or maybe they just moved to the area, at which point I will accept that you're Christian and you need to come into this community. But if you already lived here and you're already a part of a church and you're leaving your church, looking at other churches online, maybe you need to figure out how to make things better at your church.
Yeah. If you've ever had a merch drop, you might be a megachurch.
If you've ever been in
Yeah.
worship
If you have
and
a
saw a
staff-
camera staring at you the whole time, and you were trying to,
Yeah. Yeah. If
If you
you've
have a
got,
staff
if you've
more
ever
than
had,
3 people, you might be a
you might be a
megachurch.
megachurch.
if you don't use
Yeah.
the word
If-
hospitality
if the co-
room,
If the coffee in your lobby is not free, you might be a megachurch.
if you have a green room,
Yeah, you might be a megachurch.
Definitely. All right.
That's hilarious.
Let's
All right,
I
yeah,
could
we're
do
gonna
this
get
for
to-
hours. I could do this.
We're
for
gonna get
hours.
to.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So there was a real time in this country when church growth was the goal of churches. The big mindset was build a big building so that everyone can come in. And there has been a good refocus around planting and around let's raise up other elders, other leaders in our church so we can send them to another neighborhood. If we have a lot of people driving from 20 minutes away, the old model said, let's build bigger so that we've got enough space for them. The new model says, let's go plant in their neighborhood so that we can reach that neighborhood instead of telling everyone to drive over here. And so that's been a really good refocus, I think, over the last 10 years or so, maybe more. When I was in Wake Forest at seminary living on campus, I was a part of a church that was really large. Like we had probably 1,000 people on a Sunday. But the reason that I was attending that church is because I had been invited to a small group in a home, like in the apartment complex across the street from me.
Yeah.
So I was attending a growth group in a home with 10 other people that lived in my neighborhood. And finding true deep community there where we're praying together, we're confessing sin together, we're reading the Bible together, we're eating together. I get to see them throughout the week because we actually live near each other. That was a gift.
Yeah.
And so then to worship all together with 1,000 people on Sunday, it was disorienting for me coming from a much smaller church in Florida that I didn't know people on Sunday. I'd walk in, and if I didn't see those 10, 12 people from my group, I felt really like, this is weird, that I don't know people. But that church is focusing its efforts on planting. They've planted in Salt Lake City. They've planted in Baltimore. They've planted all around the country and the world because they have this structure in place of we raise up tons of elders, one, so they can shepherd our people, so that we can have real relationships with every member. And they don't admit a member unless they truly believe that they are a Christian and that they've met with them. They can confirm and affirm, yes, this person we believe has a genuine faith. And so there is that level of real relationship there that might even be closer than some churches of 50. How many churches of 50 have been that intentional with their membership to know that each and every one of our members is a believer, which is important, but can be hard to do with all the other competing, things that pastors have on their plates. And so the fact that they've established this kind of a system, which is what you have to do when you're that large, but they've made a system of having elders care for groups of groups and to know who's in their groups and to know who their members are, and then be able to send those pastors on to do the same somewhere else in a new context. They're building a system that really makes sense. And yes, there's a lot of people there, but they're, intentionally contextualizing how do we do the things that church needs to do and not just create a big room with a big worship experience that anyone can come watch whether or not they're really participating.
Yeah. Good word.
Good word.
I think we answered it in fullness.
Yeah. How big is too big for a church? Too big is at which point you can't be the family of God. You can't be known. You can't really confess. You can't really do those things. I hope that you can do that in a smaller setting if you're in a church that's really large.
Yeah. Good answer. You passed.
All right.
Good
we got
answer.
another question. Good answer.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. I think this is going to be our last one of the night. From Taven R. David, is this one of your guys?
Taven.
It always is.
Man, how special. All right.
Hi,
Shout out to
Taven.
all the boys of Samuel Morris Hall. Taven
They
says,
just
Cue applause.
Yeah, go ahead, Taven.
Dear Noah, Sam, and David, we all got our own individual shout outs.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I hope this message finds you well.
It does.
This semester, I'm attending the Taylor University Hollywood Internship Program through the Film
Yes.
and Media Department in Los Angeles. And your podcast has been a great companion during my long drives. So
Let's
he's got all that,
Get it,
all that
California.
traffic to get through. Yeah. He said,
You're welcome.
Thank you for the insightful discussions and great laughs.
Oh,
Hashtag
that's generous.
California girl. I don't know.
That gets me every
Taven
time. Honestly, when he read that off air, I laughed at that too.
Still funny.
Taven is male, just so everyone knows.
That's the joke.
We're 3 males reading the mail, so therefore there is no California girl with insight.
That's
Okay.
the joke.
Oh, as someone who has consumed countless hours of television and film over the years, I've begun to reflect on how much the media we take in has influenced or perhaps desensitized us, particularly in terms of violence, sexual content, gore, and crude humor. It seems that a large portion of contemporary films include at least one of these elements in every new movie, if not all of them. From a Christian standpoint, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how important it is to be mindful of the media we consume, or a good mindset to have when going into a film you know will include those previously stated elements. How do you think the film and television industry has shaped or impacted Christianity in modern culture? And obviously, what are you guys' favorite movies and TV shows? I look forward to your perspectives. Best regards, Taven R., former Foundation PA. That's one of the guys that works with David in the door.
Yeah, I was going to say that last sentence meant nothing to half of our listeners.
But it meant
the other
a lot
half
to
knows
some
exactly
of them.
what it means.
That's funny.
Wow.
Let's see. Okay, all of us are big. We love this question.
We
Right?
love movies.
We're big
We
media
love
guys.
culture.
We're big media.
We love
people.
Hollywood.
Media or ministry and culture podcast. So it's hard. It's kind of convicting, isn't it? Like,
Story time. Sam, Noah, tell us the story. Go.
I was just thinking, I went to a seminary class this week that was about theology and culture. It was really fun to be on campus. And it's a Baptist institution, and people were kind of joking, remembering the way that Baptist, like grandparents, great-grandparents, were extremely against the culture, against the world. You know, it used to be that Baptists didn't go to the movies. Baptists didn't go to the theater. Baptists didn't dance. Some still don't dance today. You know, like there was this real intentional separation from the world. I read a book of church discipline in the 1800s in Baptist churches in Georgia. They would discipline people for going to the theater or going to a dance. It's like official church discipline, you'd have to repent in front of the membership. And if you didn't, you would be excommunicated for this. Like, I think one of the guys said, like, I don't think this is sin. He got excommunicated. He had to go to the Methodist church.
Let's go.
Let's go. David took him.
Yeah.
But that was like a really big part of the faith, this separation from the world of like, no, those things are a different worldview. It's not appropriate for us. And I was just thinking about us in that room. We're kind of the inheritors of that movement. And now we're the ones being trained in the Baptist institution and stuff. And none of us are against movies. Most of us aren't against alcohol. Like, what happened? There was this real mindset of we need to be very separate. And now it kind of convicted me of like, have I not been intentional enough to protect myself against like influences of culture? Like my professor asked, like, what's a good form of art that really shows us the human condition? And I said, Breaking Bad is a beautiful picture of human depravity and sin. It's literally the wages of sin is death. And he's like, yeah, it sure is. I wasn't able to get through the first 3 episodes.
Oh.
And it's true. Like, that show does have a lot of sexual content. It, like, the message, like, it's all about drugs. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that's not good. There's a lot of violence. And that's an older show that was on cable. Now we've got these streaming shows that, like, they can say anything, they can show anything. The TVMA label, which is basically all of the new stuff, like it can have all kinds of stuff that Christians we don't agree with, and yet me and so many other Christians I know still choose to watch it. And so it's just this kind of tension that maybe we should be thinking more about.
So what are your favorite TV shows?
Oh my gosh. No, what else do you guys have to say?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I like, I mean, the passages, the words of Jesus come to mind, just like, talking about like, the eyes are the lamp of your body, like, like minding the things that you put, like mind what you're looking at. I think about Paul when he's talking about like, whatever's pure and notable and whole, like what to be, like the type of things to be meditating on and thinking about, like what are the things that are that consume our thoughts. And I just know like the media, the music, the stuff I put in my brain is the stuff that I meditate on, and is the stuff that so, and I think we can get like, I think just acknowledging that, not wanting to skirt past that there is a call for us as Christians to be people who are different than people in the world, and trying to figure out what that looks like. If that means to be separationist, to say we don't own any streaming, like we don't have a TV, you know what I mean? Like, is that the route to do what the Baptists did back in the day and say we don't associate at all? Is it the route to say we do everything, we watch everything, and to like to the pure all things are pure, so we'll watch whatever, and if it's not, like whatever. Or is, I mean, we're probably going to advocate it something in the middle, but I think not wanting to skirt past like just the explicit passages in scripture and the words of Jesus that do really warn us to be cautious about the things that we ingest would be wise of us, when we're thinking about how we commit hours of our life to what we're consuming. We should be considerate. So that's just my first thought, is like, yeah, I think I would like to talk about shows, how we navigate this stuff. But before you jump into the nuances and how to do that, I think it's just worth to start with kind of the stuff you were saying, Noah. Like, yeah, this is something we should take seriously.
As a kid, I remember thinking that my sisters were going to hell because they were listening to non-Christian music. And
well, yeah, there's that. There's no, is that a discussion? Oh,
I remember like going to my mom, like, yeah, like, hey mom, like they're like not listening to Toby Mac right now. And
oh my gosh.
Mom, they're listening to Switchfoot in the other room. And your mom's like, actually, that's cool.
Well, Christian Switchfoot is.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
no, but I think that like,
I
think you need to move on from that. But I think there's something to where, to me, how I view the media I consume is my goal is to not grieve the Holy Spirit, right? So like, I don't watch certain types of shows, and I've come to the place where I feel pretty confident, like, okay, I'm not going to engage with that. And I do find myself getting annoyed, and this is almost to another level, getting annoyed with certain streaming platforms, not to call any out, they may advertise on our shows eventually, so don't want to lose that future money.
They won't,
but but I don't, I feel like it's cheap storytelling to add unnecessary sexual references or sexual situations and unnecessary violence and drug use. Like, I think to me that's cheap storytelling, right? Like, if you're an actual good plot builder and plot developer, like it can be done like the same. Like, if you're trying to get across that someone has a vice, right? Like, you can do that much more creatively than just having them do X on, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like, that's where I actually love cinema and movies and TV, because I even love watching non-Christian movies, because to me, it's like when I watch them, it's like, oh, I can see where they're like grasping for something and they're trying to understand truth, and they're not there yet. So we were talking about the play Everybody or Everyone, which was put on by Taylor last year. And it's not inherently a Christian play, and it's about someone wrestling with their mortality, right? And it's not from a Christian perspective. And I remember talking to some students here who were frustrated that Taylor put it on. I'm like, well, this is good because this is showing that people are wrestling and trying to understand their life is finite, right? And this is what the world thinks happens at the end, right? And so to me, I'm like, it's actually helpful to see how people are engaging with difficult subjects outside of our Christian circles. And it allows us to have meaningful conversations. And I love like looking for those redemption arcs in film and TV and books that allow us to have a deeper understanding, because those stories that we tell, it's how we communicate to the next generation what values we have as a society, right? So I have a hard time with a lot of current media because of this anti-hero gray area that we tell all of our heroes are. We're no longer at the place where, Marvel, like the good guys use blue lightsabers and the bad guys use red, and like very clear lines on who's good and who's bad, and that the good guy wins, right? We're in this place where everything's morally ambiguous, right? Well, it's kind of an appropriate. It's an appropriate understanding of where we are in culture right now, right? Like we've gone to this place where there is no black and white. There is no hard lines
Absolute
or anything
truth.
anymore. So yeah. So that's what I love, and I love engaging with media because it allows us to really understand what our society is teaching as values at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's really big. I also enjoy that. I enjoy character growth. Rebecca always kind of gets on me for like, you're just always like analyzing the characters.
Yeah,
And
that's why we go to the
movies.
movies.
Wants to have exactly. She wants to have a good fun time watching a Hallmark where they kiss at the end. But I'm like, that choice did not make any sense with her character at all. And she's like, it's not about that. Anyway, to me, like I just care so much about characters because I really care about people. And I really love people, and I want to see like lots of people making decisions in different contexts, and it gives me empathy and it gives me compassion. It helps me understand people's worldviews. Example of what you were saying, David, like the way that cultural products like films reflect cultural values. I went to see Joker. Here's a great example of should I have gone to see this movie, right? Like it was rated R. I knew it was rated R. I invited some friends from church. We went. And there was a scene that was a sexual scene. I was embarrassed that I had invited my friends. I was like, dang, like they're adults. We're all adults. And yet I was like, this is not something that's really like good for us to be watching. And so now I'm embarrassed that I'm the one who brought them in the room. Right. So there's that to consider. They also are using every curse word in the book. And should I be putting that in my head? No. It's like gratuitously gory, and the main character has murdered 6 people in the previous movie. So he's like this definition of anti-hero. You're like supposed to root for him, and I'm like, I don't really want to root for him. But like the whole movie is just about how like institutions have failed, like people are becoming violent criminals because they are falling through the cracks. And I was like, this is just the values of our culture. Like people feel so hopeless, and like the whole film is a musical because it's kind of like everything is burning around us, but it's all about entertainment. That's kind of what we were doing. Like we're sitting in a movie theater, like trying to be entertained and enjoy something like by watching the pain of others, like knowing that there's a world of people who are hurting like this in this way. Like a world of people who do shoot up schools and do terrible, awful things. And like, it just definitely like spoke to me of like, oh my gosh, like our culture is just hurting so badly right now that we're making movies to watch just how terrible life is. All that to say, should I have been watching that movie? Maybe not. Did it tell us about something about our culture? Yes.
Yes, it did.
Sam, what you were saying, like we're not going to have TVs or we're just going to watch everything and it's okay. I feel like the Christians that I spend time with these days, we're much more on the we're going to watch everything and it's okay. And I also kind of go that way, but I think we should be thinking a little bit more intentionally.
Yeah, I think all right, now let's get into it. Let's talk about the shows and stuff. I don't think that every single thing that you watch, like every single thing that I watch, is going to shape me for better or for worse, right? The things that I put into like into my mind and the things that I like consume through media. I think one, it's like just starting off, it's safe and wise to have boundaries of saying like, I'm not gonna like, I have never watched Games of Thrones, and I'm like, don't plan on it because I just know how intense it is, and just like it wouldn't be good for me. I'm not going to do it. I've like started shows, like I've tried to watch The Wire, and it's like too much for me. I like can't. I like I've tried. I'm like, all right, I just can't do it. Like this isn't good for me. Like there's shows that I've like not gone to, or things that I've had to turn off because I'm like, this is not leading me. This is just not healthy. But also like just using Breaking Bad as an example, like I feel like Breaking Bad, I didn't become a meth dealer and start murdering people, from watching Breaking Bad. I think I honestly had more of what Noah you were talking about, where I'm like, gosh, this is literally an image. This gives some language to the human experience in a way that you can't really give language to something unless it is that raw and that intense. You know what I mean? Like there's something beautiful. There's something that I think we have to be honest about when it comes to the arts and how it's able to provide language and produce emotion that gets to the heart of what it means to be human, that other things can't do. And that can be uncomfortable and that can be hard. And that's what some of like my favorite shows do, right? Like they pull emotions out that I'm like, wow, this is really powerful. So, my mind's going a lot of places. I'm thinking of Paul talking about the like meat sacrifice to idols conversation about like, this is, it's probably not, if I'm ever consuming something or doing something where a fellow Christian would be like, that is unwise and you should not do that. Like, I'm not going to fight them and be like, no, you should watch this show or movie with me. You know what I mean? Like if I'm with somebody who's like, you shouldn't be drinking, I'm not going to be like, yeah, just have a beer with me. Come on. It's all good. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not a loving posture to take. But also I feel like there's an element of like, I don't know. Like I feel like there's things that I can consume that don't, like that, don't have this like super adverse negative effect on me mentally or spiritually, like a Breaking Bad or something. And maybe that just makes me a terrible person, but I don't know. This is something we're all wrestling with and trying to be like, do we suck for liking these shows that are really hard?
I mean, we don't want to draw pharisaical lines. You don't want to say like, you Christians can't watch TVMA or can't watch rated R, because it's obviously much more about heart posture than rules. But I think about just how much more crass like our culture and American products has gotten. Like when I was a teenager, the shows that I liked were Disney Channel, and it was like they weren't allowed to curse at all. And it's just funny sitcoms. And now like the teens watch these Netflix teen dramas that show 15-year-olds going to lake houses alone with friends and no parents. And like there's lots of sex and drugs and cursing. And I'm just like very like, this isn't good for our teenagers.
This is not the Sweet Life on Deck. What the heck?
What happened? When even Rebecca like talks about how Taylor Swift's songs, she used to have like 0 explicits, and then it was like 1 or 2 explicit songs in the album where she'd say 1 curse word. And now her newest album is just full of curse words. And like even like the artist that's popular with young teens now, like Olivia Rodrigo, is just like explicit.
I thought you were gonna say Chapel Rowan.
Yeah, I thought you were cooler than Olivia Rodrigo.
Jelly Roll. No, I don't know about Jelly Roll.
Oh, Jelly Roll.
I just know the kids in their Jelly Roll.
I don't get it, to be honest. But anyway, like why does it all need to be so crass and explicit now? And I think that we've definitely seen like a decline, especially in like the streaming world where there's not these standards anymore that like broadcast TV had or radio had. And I think that it's just become so normal that it is right and good for Christians to push back against it and say, we don't need to be like this.
All right. I have an idea on how we end this episode. I think we should end on
back to all these people.
End on a high note. each of us share the best movie they've seen this last year.
Best movie in the last year?
Yeah. So not your favorite movie, just your best movie you have watched since October 2023. Go ahead, Sam.
I do want to ask. I don't know if we answered his question at the end where he said, "Do we think that it's affected the church at all?"
Oh, you're right. We did.
We didn't answer that part. I don't know if we have a good answer.
Yeah, no. What I was sharing there, like Christians in the 1800s were saying can't go to the movies.
Yeah,
Christians today are saying I can watch this and it's not going to affect me. And culture 30 years ago, you weren't allowed to say specific things or do things on TV. And today, there's no such restrictions. And I really think that has like made our culture a lot more crass. I see parents say the F word to children in our neighborhood. And I just am very confused that parents would talk this way. And yet they're millennials and that's how they talk. And so they talk to their kids that way too. And I just think that that's obviously not good for them. But it's just a really normal part of our society now. You go to a middle school and that's how kids talk. And so I think that it is good for Christians to be aware of this society that we're living in and how can we live differently and show a different way of life by following Jesus.
There you go. Okay, cool. Then
So just don't assimilate to culture. Don't just do it because that's what everyone else does.
Yeah.
It's hard though. We like the TVs. Best movie of this year. I was ready for his favorite, asking him about our favorite TV shows because I can talk about This Is Us all day.
Wow.
I know. I don't know if I
love that show. David, you and I watched so many of that episodes together. That was fun.
It lost me. It lost me though.
Boo, David.
Yeah.
I can go
season
TV
1
shows.
I loved. All right, fine. Favorite media you've consumed in the last year.
I will say, just to try to answer David, the only movie that comes to mind last year that I just like had a lot of fun with was we saw The Fall Guy, and that we loved that movie.
That's good.
That movie was great. That was a blast. But okay, guys, pick top 3 favorite TV shows in light of all we said.
Well, I want to answer my question.
Oh, David, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, David. Sorry.
To the point of I'm actually creating for January. I'm creating the. It's either going to be the Sammy Morris or David Neal Film Festival, where we will watch some of my favorite films and have discussion. The Holdovers.
You're going to engage with this stuff.
Holdovers is so good.
Fun.
Yeah,
so good.
And I think
Lots
it's
of cursing.
the type of, but it's the type of a deeper, cause you to think film that I think this generation needs. Because here's the problem, man. They're like, oh, I love Surf's Up too. I'm like, yeah, sure, but let's watch something else.
Who are these kids?
Yeah. So you're all invited to the January David Neal sponsored Sammy Morris Film Festival. First showing being The Holdovers. We have a popcorn machine and everything.
Are you just talking to guys who live in your dorm?
I'll open it up to you two.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, okay, I'll see if I can make it.
Okay. All right. So the question was best TV show of your life?
I don't even know. He just asked some of our favorite TV shows.
Yeah, some of your favorite
stuff.
movies and TV shows he asked for.
I'm way more into TV shows, I feel like, than movies. I mean, I love Arrested Development. I love The Office. Big Breaking Bad. Enjoyed Succession. Like a lot of the Star Wars. Loved Mandalorian. Ahsoka. Had a blast with The Bear. I don't know. All the heavy ones, man. Yeah, here for it. Those are some of my favorites, guys.
I'm currently watching the Ring.
That was
Rings
incredible.
Of Power. Oh, sorry.
Severance, so good.
You're liking Rings of Power, David?
I am. I know I'm not supposed to.
Dude,
you're allowed to
online
like
people.
things.
Yeah.
I love the first season. I'm struggling with the second one.
See, I'm
watching The Penguin right now.
Oh.
There's a new episode waiting for me tonight that I'm not going to get to watch because we're recording late. Have you guys watched Silo on Apple TV?
I don't have
Loved
Apple TV.
Silo.
Dude,
That
Silo is
first
so
episode-
good.
Yeah.
Insane. Silo's an incredible show.
That first episode me and Rebecca watched again recently because it's just so well crafted of a pilot. and just introduces this dystopian world where they live in a silo underground. There's only 10,000 of them, and they're the last
So
people
good.
on Earth. And what is their purpose? How did they get there? It's very interesting. It's asking very big worldview questions because they don't know their history and they don't know how they got in a silo.
So good.
All right, here's what I want to know from the viewers at home. What's one of the best movies or TV shows that you've seen, and what lessons did you learn from it? And bigger question, what movies should I add to the film festival? So, starting with The Holdovers, what do I add to that?
And nobody's allowed to say The Chosen.
Or
even
Surf's
though
Up
it's
too.
good for what it is. You're not allowed to say The Chosen.
That's good.
Goofy. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
But I don't want big. I don't want Hollywood big. You know, I don't.
Megamind.
I love the Spider-Man. I love him. But I want. I'm gonna say it. I want pretentious movies.
Oh, so it's David's Indie Film Fest.
Yeah. The only thing I'm thinking mainstream is we'll do a one day every single piece of Lord of the Rings media.
That's sick. Otherwise, you just want to watch Asteroid City and just explain to us how good it is.
Royal Tannenbaums. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Love it.
Wow.
This has been a
to
fun
end this.
conversation.
Yeah.
It's been a great conversation of all of us being afraid to name the TV shows we actually like to watch. This has been super fun. This has been great.
Well, thank you all for sending us emails to our staircasepod@gmail.com. We hope that you will send an email to staircasepod@gmail.com. We are going to send Naveed created responses from our Staircase GPT to each of you, and we hope that you enjoy this episode. We've got great new Staircase content coming at you, and we're just glad you guys are along for the ride. Thanks for supporting Staircase to Nowhere's Ministry Culture podcast. We got stickers available. So
That's true.
we're offering free shipping, which is an incredible deal. And if you've had a merch drop, you might be a mega church. So I think that makes us now a mega church.
Wow.
But we got the circle stickers. We have the square stickers, and they're $2 each. And if you order them on our Instagram, then Sam will mail it to your house or place of business.
True. Anywhere you want.
Well,
not anywhere. Anywhere a stamp will get you. So that's all. All right. This was a lot of fun. I am thankful for you guys and you listeners.
I just found my MC subs card.
Stay cool. Goodbye. I'm stopping the recording.
My number is 11010003. I thought you were gonna stop the recording
before he reads his whole number.
Oh wait, maybe it's good because then you guys can earn me points.